Hello and welcome to Supreme Commander Forge Alliance Forever. This is a Group A match, and I realized I hadn't featured this man right here, DeathSquad, so I thought we would cover at least one of his series for sure. And he's up against ThomasHiatt, who we have featured. Actually, have we seen... I think we saw one series versus Patrick from Thomas. Did we see him against Nexus? I can't recall. I think we didn't. But anyway, for now we have him versus DeathSquad. DeathSquad was a sub for this tournament. I believe he replaced RoboGear. Based on his position in the qualifier, or the, what is it, the last chance qualifier, the sub tournament. Where did he get to the final of that squad? I can't remember. I know Yudi won it, but he didn't sub into this tournament, unfortunately. Thomas recounting tales of his games versus Patrick. Saying that he was ahead in a certain game. At this point I can't recall if he's correct or not. So we're on Theta. Hydro coming. We have one PJ. Yeah, same build from both, sort of. Although actually two labs from DeathSquad. DeathSquad does like to be very aggressive, and he always plays Cybran, at least as far as I know. He's a certain Cybran whore, and he loves to make labs, and he's made two here. One from Thomas. Let's see. They've spotted each other, so Thomas knows there's a lab and a scout coming here, but he doesn't know there's one in the corner, and this tank, well, actually the tank will stay going to the bottom, and the AC will try and deal with the lab. Does successfully. Perfect. Did have to cancel all his reclaim orders. Well, maybe he didn't, but he did it anyway, that's for sure. Now retreating. DeathSquad retreats with the engineer away from the lab. The scout dies, and the lab has no vision to help him out, so it's going to be very difficult to get a kill. Oh, and DeathSquad grabbing the mid reclaim with an early engineer. That's quite nice, but will he be behind in factories because of that? Well, we can see here 3 factories done and a PGen on the way. 3 factories still not completed. Also, you can see Thomas made 2 factories before making a PGen. DeathSquad made a PGen after his second factory, I believe. Definitely before his third one. But his AC was also still in the base. But considering he's taken all of these wrecks now already, and taking some of the rocks as well, the ACU being a bit slower is not really... it's probably not going to be that big of a disadvantage. He now has 4 factories up, and Thomas has just finished his 4th. So overall the factory count has gone back and forth slightly, but in that way it's going to be more or less even. So let's see the tanks. Well, Thomas has more tanks. He definitely has more tanks, maybe because he made a later power generator, maybe just slightly better management overall of his resources. Huge mass stall now. This factory was a mistake for sure, and if he builds this next one, it's going to be very bad. It's going to be very bad because his production buildings just won't function correctly, and well, that's quite nice for Thomas to get a tank and an engineer. You can see no tanks died or really took much damage, and now Thomas also getting some juicy kills with his ACU. So leaving the base late is hurting now, and this is such a horrible position to find yourself in on Theta. It's very demoralizing when your map looks like this. Thomas loves the look of this. He needs to maybe get a scout close to his AC so he doesn't get caught off guard, but really he has very good vision. This isn't too dangerous. So his reinforcements will head in this direction, I'm sure. He's getting the corner now. This raid has been crushed very, very effectively. And that was about 5 tanks. And 5 tanks at this point is a huge chunk of your army. And now he's got DeathSquad is going to get raided here. Seems to have far fewer tanks. And this game really looks over already, actually. 13 tanks, double that. DeathSquad is just going to try and draw, I guess. He doesn't really have anything else to do. He's gotten so comprehensively crushed on this map. Wow. I wasn't quite expecting that, honestly. But if I think about it now, did Thomas play several Theta games before this in this tournament? I think he may have. In his games versus Petrick, did he play Theta? Maybe only once. But yeah, DeathSquad at least, yeah, he is really just all in now to try and get a draw. He is keeping the ACU HP relatively similar. He's actually shooting the ACU right now, which is maybe a mistake, because Thomas now gets a vet level, which puts him clear in the lead HP wise. DeathSquad does not have enough units coming across, and he's just dead. Basically, yeah, he says, I don't get this map. You can't stall mass on this map or you will die. This minus 20 mass, that completely killed him. It means he has virtually no production, because you have right now, you can see, is plus 11. If he's minus 23, then his factories are going to produce Mantis at like a third of their speed, maybe. I don't know the exact maths here, but basically all these P-gens can't afford those, and he could not afford the factories when he built them either. So the factories he did have produced nothing, essentially, and Thomas, I mean, you can see he has less P-gens, and he has an energy storage and everything, so that was quite brutal, and I think hopefully instructive for people watching, because it wasn't exactly entertaining, so we'll aim for instructive instead. There's the score. So yeah, Thomas just had a bigger score. Mass, you can see DeathSquad with a bump here from the mid reclaim, but then quickly fell behind in a big way as Thomas took the corner, did some raiding, maybe did better reclaiming in the middle of the map after the initial start, but yeah, there we go. Now we'll open game 2 in a moment. Yeah, that was quite a severe crush, and really shows the pain of a mass stall. Everyone knows a power stall is bad. Everyone in theory knows a mass stall is bad, but do they know just how bad it can be? Now they should. Alright, map number 2 is Badlands. Now this should not be over in 6 minutes. It's quite difficult to win in 6 minutes on Badlands, I would say. Might take the ACU that long to walk across the map. Well, maybe not that long. Let's see. And yeah, DeathSquad true to form. First, Labaroo. He does love his labs. I wonder why he makes labs so much. Maybe he doesn't think he can win against Thomas without getting some sort of early decent damage. Maybe he just thinks labs are a good strategy, but he does make them all the time, and usually makes more than one, I would say. From what I've seen, bit of a pause here That's not good. You don't want to see that. But he is carefully trying to balance his economy. The lab gets 1 kill. Will it get 2? Oh no, there's a tank coming. You can see the trees breaking. Oh no, it's not it. Oh, it was a tank. Okay. But, there we go. He gets 1 kill with the lab, which is decent, but he doesn't kill the lab that's reclaiming, which is this one. Just kills 1 at the hydro, which is not really the most valuable of engineers to kill. You have some quite defensive tanks now. Yeah, they're assisting. This one is just waiting, defending these 2 guys. This one is assisting this engineer, trying to keep him alive, and the other Mantis is running. Now, let's see how well a tank assisting an engineer defends it from another tank. Now, from a lab, this sort of setup will defend against the lab, surely, but against a tank it might not. However, second tank was there as well, so Thomas not doing too much micro over here. Once again, tank is arriving, but a Mantis is here, and the Mantis has a scout, and he has a buddy as well, so 2 raids well defended by DeathSquad. How's his expansion though? Looks very similar to Thomas's. Oh, nice raid. Slowing down expansion to the back mexes. Both players have just a bit of air and are doing some scouting. Well, actually, DeathSquad is not really scouting, but Thomas has a scout over the base, and a scout was tracking this Mantis. Oh, 2 more Mantis from DeathSquad, showing his aggression, and kills 2 more engineers. And he's gonna 2v1 this tank, and he may 2v1 the next tank that appears. Oh no, he didn't. Lost 1 of them. But again, nice raid. Even though it seems like 2 random engineers in a random place, it still helps. Engineers are not free. They're not even cheap, really, for T1 units. So a couple of kills there is quite nice. Many T1 factories going up. I don't see any T2 economy from DeathSquad just yet, but he does have the score lead, slightly behind on mass, however. Despite some of the raids, that's an interesting drop. Looks like he just dropped 5 meters to the left there to get a hydro. I would not really invest a transport in that. Would probably drop the plateaus, you know, which neither player has actually gone for yet. And oh, transport gets taken out. And it will cost DeathSquad all of his air, but he has killed a transport with 3 engineers aboard. That's sort of questionable. Is it worth it? I would say it may be. Let me think. I mean, you five inties down. I guess it depends on what use ThomasHiatt makes of the air win. If he doesn't do anything with it, then it will be fine for DeathSquad, but DeathSquad is not taking the plateaus at the minute, so Thomas will make a transport, and he could drop perhaps both plateaus anyway, in which case that air suicide is not really going to be worth it. It'll only serve to slow down a couple of mexes a little bit, but not greatly. This PD went up at a nice time, took out 6 Mantis. Looks like DeathSquad tried to go aggressive there, but it did not work. He didn't really get past in any location, and looks like he may have slightly fewer units, or at least similar units, while ThomasHiatt is already at T2 land. I don't see T2 land upgrading from DeathSquad yet, nor do I see much economy. I see 1 T2 mech constructed and 1 upgrading. Thomas is doing a bit more than that, and he has T2 land, so looks like Thomas is doing a little better for himself right now. Already has seems to have an advantage from what I can see. How many support factories is he going to make straight away? He has 2 upgrading here. perhaps more coming. It's quite good to have one in the expansion, I find, to get quick reinforcements on this side of the map. Sometimes you end up with all your production in one place, and it does make the production safer, but it may not be always the best idea. Where's the... well, yeah, okay, we get a couple engineers. We won't be able... that's why we won't be able to go T3 land until he really has a T2 Pigeon. If he rushes... this is how you would do a T3 rush, would be... I mean, he's already kind of late if you want to really rush T3, but if you want to go T3 right now, you would just immediately throw up a T2 Pigeon, assist with all of these engineers, and then go back on the factory, get T3, and maybe start a second T2 Pigeon slowly with 1 or 2 T2 engineers. You also need to make that TMD very quickly for the Cybern player, as they're more vulnerable to TMLs. Thomas is constructing Mongoose. He's also upgrading the gun on his ACU. The Mongoose are heading to the right side first, and TMDs are going up to defend him from TMLs. A lot of things have just been paused here as he tries to finish the ACU upgrade. They will be unpaused once that is complete, and this attack shouldn't really get past, I would say. I mean, having all this production paused made it slightly plausible that this could get through, but not really. 3 Mongoose are going to come out, and with this is more than enough army to stop this and turn this into a mass donation. You can see Thomas with quite a nice formation here, I would say. Could be better, but they're reasonably close together. Keeps them moving. He only loses some to Medusa, and that is going to be a mass donation. On the right side, again, lots of T1, but what can it really do against Mongoose and a gun ACU? There's virtually nothing. And although you can see economically both players have very similar situations, the eco difference isn't huge, hasn't been throughout the game, but Thomas is wait, has this been paused forever? Because this, he was upgrading T2 a long time ago. I guess he had it paused while he's making the P-Gen, and it looks like, alright, DeathSquad is going to T3. So, a question, should you make use of your T1 like this if you're rushing to T3? Well, back when we had a huge number of harb brushes, you would never ever do this, obviously, because you have Aurora, and you need to keep all the Aurora you can alive as you go to T3, just to avoid as much damage as possible. Then once the harbs come out, the harbs get dropped around, harbs start doing damage in every location and wipe out any T2 units that the enemy had. But in this scenario, obviously you have Mantis, they can run through a lot faster. That's what's taking so much damage from these Mongoose. He may die, actually, if he's not. He's probably mass stalling, is he? Yeah, he is. Jesus. He doesn't want to cancel, obviously. Well, he survived for now, but okay, yeah. Well, that's... he's not going to die to this, surely. 1 gunship after his ACU might hurt. Yeah, all this Mantis stuff has completely failed. And I think it is true for Cybern as it was for Aeon, that when you're rushing T3 you don't waste your units. They're precious things, and you're gonna have fewer of them, so clearly you should not be attacking. So that was a mistake there, and now it's just mass donation for Thomas, and mass donation here as well has been mostly gathered. Gunships raiding from Thomas, although they're really not doing much at all. DeathSquad has 1 air. He had invested in 3 air factories. He's 1 air, but he doesn't have T2 air. He does not have any use for air, essentially, at this point, because he has no aggressive units to make use of that air control with. And now there's quite a few T2 units heading towards his relatively low HP commander. He does have T2. Does have 1 T2 PD, but that is now dead. Thomas maybe being a bit too aggressive in return. I think he should be able to save several of these pillars and get away, maybe the flak as well. But he has lost some units in this attack, and he's attacking here as well, maybe going for the kill. But that is going to be difficult versus this ACU. Now that he can't prioritize the ACU while he moves with his units. But actually still running over everything. And if he right clicks on this ACU, he should kill it, in fact. I think, unless there's some very, very powerful overcharge goes into the center of this bunch of units. Where is it? Oh, there we go. There's 5 units died there, a couple of pillars included. The shields were not protecting the units from the overcharge. And now DeathSquad actually got a veterancy from that. And loyalists have arrived, and they should mop all of these units up quite quickly. Where are the loyalists? Well, they're all sort of still in the base. This would be the perfect time to drop some units around the side. Now, it does make it more difficult to drop units around the side because both the plateaus are covered by Thomas, so he has perfect vision across the map. Well, perfect radar coverage across the map. So that is an issue, but dropping a loyalist on each plateau, taking it back, is definitely an option too. And then follow up. Say you drop a loyalist here, kill everything. As the loyalist is killing, you drop engineers, and then when the engineers drop, then you pick up the loyalists again, drop them down here, and run around the back of the base to do damage. That is that would be a very good plan for DeathSquad to try and execute, because he has air control. There's no anti-air in this location, only around the ACU to protect him from a snipe, basically. And the armies are going to have plenty of flak in them. Certainly this one has a lot of flak and shields. Somehow, well, all the shields are down, so that's... I guess it's not too good. Needs a third P-Gen. T3 is 2/3 of the way there for Thomas. DeathSquad has not used his T3 land at all. And this is an issue, is that he went for loyalists. Damn, he really lacks vision. He has no idea what's going on ahead of him. And now he's actually retreating away from these T2 units. And maybe he's baiting them in further so he can get reclaim easier, but he should run over this. Like, look how many loyalists he has. Just run over this army, kill it all. It's quite incredible that he has 9 T3 units and he's not just killing, attacking. If you have the faster tech, especially to T3, you need to use those units. I mean, at T2 stage, you need to take care of you always need to take care of your initial higher tech units, but you can't just sit them in your base either. That's no good. He really needs to attack here. I mean, Thomas is even stealing reclaim. Like, this is awful for DeathSquad. Very well done by Thomas to take advantage. He's actually reclaiming this T2PD. He's going to get all of it with a T1 engineer. That's ridiculous. Thomas has more reclaim now. I mean, he hasn't even grabbed all of this stuff here, which is... God, there's so much here, and he hasn't taken it. So now it looks extremely good for Thomas. He's just completely... I think, well, it's just basically DeathSquad didn't use his T3 units, and still hasn't, and now Percivals are coming out. The Loyalists will be not very useful at that point. And He has switched to bricks, but he's not only making bricks, he's making bricks and loyalists, it seems, still. On the right side, he doesn't really have a chance of getting through a nano gun commander. And on the left side, he doesn't have enough units. Now there's walls going up, PDs going up, and there's shields, and there's going to be... I mean, there's already, what, 3 Percivals here? There's more than enough here for Thomas to defend now. Thomas is just way ahead. Artillery coming up, and this attack can't work, can it? Let's see. Well, Thomas has taken no damage on his ACU yet. Whoa. Loyalists are running in, destroying many units, but there's so many overcharges going in. ACU is under attack now, losing HP quite rapidly. Oh, there's so many Corsairs, and Thomas just dodged almost all of that damage. Nice dodge, says DeathSquad. And it was a nice dodge. It was a very nice dodge. And Thomas dodges not quite so well, loses about 3k there, but very comfortably alive at this point. Well, it was worth a try, but yeah, that is the issue with Corsair snipes. They are quite dodgeable at this point. And that is a unit that's been changed quite a lot. Not in the recent past, but in the past of FAF patches, Corsair has been changed quite a bit, as it is such a strong unit, and at this point it's quite dodgeable. But still, you gotta do a nice movement, and that was pretty nice for Thomas. He sort of dodged towards them and then to the left, and they completely missed. So maybe that's the best way to dodge them. So the Corsairs instead go after this army on the left, and they're really the only thing that can attack this army. There's not much that DeathSquad has in terms of land units now. He's suicided so many units in here to try and kill the ACU. And Thomas is now making the shield, so yeah, it doesn't seem likely that he's gonna get sniped. In the middle, 3 Percivals march forward. They probably want to not march too much further. On the left side, I feel like this could really just push through now. Once he has a couple of flaks and he is sending a couple that direction, then he can push through. And probably we're getting close to the point where you just select all your units and move order forward into the opponent's base, because he has 15 Percivals. Still has a decent leftover T2 army as well. Actually, he may still be making some T2. Perhaps he's stopped now. But yeah, DeathSquad without really any economy. I mean, he has some T2 mexes, but there's a lot of storage T2 mass here for Thomas. Far more than for DeathSquad. Thomas has 50 mass ahead. Attempted run by. I mean, a run by with this many T3 units is really not a run by, it's just a mass donation. It's not efficient damage in any way. Corsairs are trying to deal with the demolishers. 2 of them go down, but a third one survives, and it's going to target the T2 mexes in this expansion, which is very bad for DeathSquad. He will lose these. A lot of Corsairs come out of the back of the base and are trying to turn this very large army into mass to be used for DeathSquad's new army. The Inties come in, but there's so many Corsairs, they can actually fight this many Inties. The Corsairs can actually win that air fight. And now, oh, where are the Corsairs going? Well, they're not going for the ACU, which has, Jesus, nearly 40,000 HP at this point. He's going for the main base. He's going for T2 power. No P-gens have gone down yet. One has. T3 P-gen is just finishing. And there it goes. He needs to kill that. He's still killing T2 P-gens and none of them have died yet. Oh my god. Kill the T3 P-gen and Thomas may have very little power. Also the energy storage would be great to kill. Oh, the shield goes up. 2 shields have popped on. But the P-gen is still gonna die. There's just so many Corsairs. And he can also take out the upgrading T3 HQ. Air HQ. Oh no, he's going for the ACU, isn't he? That might not be the right decision though. Well, the shield will be down, that's for sure, but there's so much anti-air here. And Thomas has already shown that he can dodge. Look at that. Dodged so much of that damage. He's down to 6,700. 6,200. He may die. 4,000. There's just so much anti-air that the Corsairs are not lasting long enough. And his shield comes back online and goes off again. The mobile shields are blinking on and off, and he's just dodging for his life, still on 4,800 HP. And the Corsairs are all dead. And look, notice how everything else on the map is completely idle, as both players were just looking at exactly what I was looking at the whole time. And Thomas survives, 4,000 HP. What's his power income? 700. Okay, that is enough. That is enough power income, and it's basically some T1 power, and the 4 hydros have been quite useful. But now he has a T2 P-gen up, and still stalling insanely hard, of course, but he is actually fine still. He can get his power up quickly. I mean, he's lacking build power, I would say, to really rush these P-gens, especially around his wrecks where he could build them faster, but that had to be a kill on the ACU, and it looks like we will not see a kill on the ACU. TMD's defending against the spearheads, which really they really ought to be nerfed. 400 mass for this unit. It's not really a reasonable cost, I would say, but yes, that was very close. I wonder, could he? I mean, I can't really argue with him going for the ACU because he did take out the shields and everything, thanks to killing all the power. But at the other end, I'm thinking, could he have killed just everything in this location? Could he have just killed this HQ that was upgrading, this HQ, T2 mexes, everything? The problem, I guess, is he has 9 bricks at the moment still versus 25 Percies. There haven't been any extra Percies added. This is basically the count as it was. So even killing the base would still leave him with less than half the army of his opponent. So I guess he has to go for the ACU. And look at this, he's going again. More Corsairs, but this time they are actually already flying over so many flags. Oh, he's targeting P-gens again. That's no good. Yeah, that's not happening. He's killed 2 P-gens? No, 1. 100 HP. ThomasHiatt says stop. It's very reasonable, I would say. He should stop for his own sake and for Thomas's sake, I guess. Oh, that P-gen got finished off. Doesn't matter now, though. Well, let's see what Thomas is at again. Well, 1600. Oh, God. Yeah, this... This game lost its edge. Oh my god, okay. No, never mind, it didn't lose its edge. Thomas has no idea that there's a half-finished Soul Ripper. Well, nearly half-finished. The problem is 100 mass income. He's still building units. He shouldn't build any units anymore, I think. Just pause and put everything. Maybe reclaim T2 mexes at this point. Well, maybe you want to wait till a bit closer to it being finished, actually. So this is the kind of scenario where you reclaim your base to build the one weapon that could potentially kill your opponent. These are a problem. Sam's already. And maybe Thomas... Does Thomas know? He has no idea. Actually, now Thomas can see that buildings are getting destroyed, which may make him suspicious. He sees PDs are also getting recycled. Once he's... Oh yeah, here comes the scouts. They're not being stopped at all. And if he sees the Soul Ripper, it's really unlikely to work. Oh, the inties are way too late to stop the scouting. And there, Thomas sees the Soul Ripper. Look at the amount of Corsair wrecks. Jesus, all of these 380 or so. 330. Those are all Corsairs. Thomas, with the shield ACU, needs to make more SAMs immediately. He also shouldn't really make his engineers walk to build them. Just build them, and well, these flaks will also come in handy, the mobile shields. All of these things will help, but will they be enough against the Soul Ripper? Well, it's taking too long at this point. I think now is the time to reclaim the HQ for 5,000 mass. Reclaim even this T2 P-Gen, reclaim T2 mexes, claim everything you can find, and hope the snipe works. It's painful. You just want to see it finished, but it's so close, but he's still stalling. He should just go more all in and reclaim all of his base, reclaim the mexes and everything. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4 SAMs. So many T1 anti-airs as well. So many flags. T3 gunship. Oh, ASFs are going to be out as well. So close. Here we go. Now, it's time to go. Click on the ACU is all you need to do. That's all you can possibly win with, is really by clicking on the ACU. I mean, maybe there's some chance he can kill everything else on the map that isn't the ACU, but barring that, this needs to be a snipe. He's now scouting with an interceptor to search for his target, and flies directly into SAMs. He now sees 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 SAMs that he can see here under shields spread out. I'm not sure how long it would take 6 SAMs to kill a Soul Ripper, but it all comes down to this now. And full Corsair production as well. Here he comes, straight in for the snipe. Soul Ripper is here, and here are the Corsairs as well. Will Thomas die? Soul Ripper's getting chunked down very quickly by these SAM launchers. Thomas still hasn't lost his shield, and the Soul Ripper's on half HP. The Corsairs were mainly dodged. They are doing some damage now. Thomas on 13,000, the Soul Ripper on 20. Oh, he's gonna survive. 7,500, 5,400. Thomas survives again. Oof, that was close. Oh, good thing Thomas was UEF. You imagine he was I mean, with Aeon he would be dead unless he had the heavy shield. Cybern, of course, he would be dead. Seraphim, he's probably dead then too, but he has the UEF shield. And he survives many snipe attempts. Well, that was a good try from DeathSquad. Just full sniping. The T3 rush was, well, it wasn't a fast enough rush, and the units weren't used correctly really, but after that Corsairs did insane damage, and the Soul Ripper nearly won it as well. I mean, the Corsairs killed all the main power buildings in the base and nearly sniped the ACU, so that was a great move obviously, but the Soul Ripper is so close. Thomas managed to get enough SAMs up in time and had the all-important UEF shield upgrade, which saved him on more than one occasion. And so there we go, Thomas wins the series 2-0 against DeathSquad, and that knocks DeathSquad out. He'd already lost to Nexus at this point, so he finishes bottom of Group A. Petrick has finished... did we cast that one? But yes, nice play from DeathSquad. He nearly got the win here. I kind of thought that Soul Ripper is going to work. It usually does, in my experience. But yeah, there we go. GG, well played. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next cast.